Good
Good
afternoon.
evening, wherever you are on our amazing planet. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Welcome to being here.
Yeah, being here, it's a very interesting thing.
Hmm.
You can do all kinds of things without being where you are. And being, the idea of being where you are is so unusual in our world. Today I went to Costco to pick up some parts for my hearing aids. And I found it so interesting watching people, how they were rushing to get where they weren't. And maybe we can slow down enough to get to where we are and actually be here for our lives.
When we do that, anytime is quality time. And
That is
that's the
true.
theme today for this episode, because particularly recently, Shai and we have a steam shower. We repaired it. Shai was taking a shower, a steam bath, and I was thinking about it. He said, "Hey, do you want to come in?" And I did. But when I did, I was preoccupied with projects that I'd been in the midst of. And I realized, and he realized, because as he was talking to me, there was a gap between me and my listening, that I wasn't actually there. There was no quality time that was going to happen. It would be something that was potentially pleasant that was being endured. So we spoke, and I listened to him, and I let go of what wasn't. So I highly recommend that today you let go of what isn't with you right now. And that includes whatever projects you're not currently doing. And you use your ears to listen.
And here's the thing, listening isn't agreeing with what's being said, and it isn't disagreeing with what's being said. It's actually allowing what's being said to come into you without passing it through your already knowing, that information that you believe to be reality. See, otherwise, you're constantly just playing the same tunes over and over again, and there's no new juice in your life.
Now, for those of you who've listened to us over time, we clearly have more than 900 episodes. So if you've listened to several, you know that we frequently talk about listening. But there's something that we've noticed when we don't. And when we don't talk about listening at one of our Living Made Easy seminars or our weekend seminars, when we think, they know that, we skip over it. There's a different quality of being that emerges. And we often have to circle back around and talk about listening. So you can treat what we say as,
I know that.
I've heard that. They said that
They
before.
say this all the time.
But I've sat next to Shia speaking about listening for more than 30 years, and he never, ever says it exactly the same. This moment is new, and so are you.
If you let yourself be here in this moment, but you can be preoccupied,
By skipping out into your thoughts of, been here, done that. I've wrote the
or
book.
or I've got places to go and get to. I need what things I need to accomplish. You see, if you're missing the current moment of your life because you're worrying about something you've done in the past or something you're about to do in the future, then you miss out on your life, because your life is actually taking place in this moment, not in some future, some future accomplishment, attainment. We go fishing, and we go fishing at these fishing lodges that cost a lot of money to go to. I work for my money, so that I work on it so I can go fishing. Uh, and there are a lot of very, very wealthy people at these fishing lodges, but they're not happy. Wealth does not produce happiness, you see.
More free time, accomplishing, divesting. Nothing produces it. However, over the course of today, you can access it. You can absolutely access your sense of well-being. Let's take our first guest.
Please.
Ulf, welcome to being here. Where are you
Hey,
zooming in from?
hey, Ariel and Shya. I'm zooming in from Hamburg in Germany.
Yes, sir.
So nice to see you. And shout out to you. Kudos to you. We do Living Made Easy seminars. There are 2-hour adventures into being sometimes more than once a week. We do them in different time zones to make it at an easy
Accessibility for people in Europe.
And Ulf is one of our friends from Europe who often tunes in to the ones that we set up primarily for the American Canadian time zone from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So that means that what time is it generally when
I
you
think it's from 1 to 3 in the night.
Yes. And so it's fun because we get to see you frequently and sometimes on Saturdays and in the evenings
Yeah.
in the European time.
And we appreciate your presence.
We do.
Thank you for that. And I appreciate the session too. So the last one was so energizing. After that I go to bed but I just was so it's hard to say what it was, but I was so energized in a way that I couldn't sleep for half an hour, but that was no problem. I just listened to my wife breathing. And after a while, I fell asleep. So I made no problem of not getting to sleep because at 6 in the morning, normally I stand up. So yeah, but that was a lovely session with you and the other people.
I actually love that you laid there for a half an hour.
Listening to your wife's breathing. That is so cool.
It is. And by the way, if you haven't caught on, Shya and I do finish each other's sentences. Recently, we really discovered of how much we simulthink. Like one of us will think, maybe we should go out for Japanese food. We haven't talked about eating all day. And the other person goes, let's go out for Japanese food. So there's a quality. So don't be surprised when we.
Yeah, that's great. Rarely my wife and me have same things when I think, well, that would be great now. And she turns around the corner and say, why don't we do that? And that's so amazing. And I say, oh, connected. So I love that.
Well, sometimes you're always, what if you're always connected, but sometimes connected looks like disconnect?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
as I signed up for the quality time, my first thoughts were, I'm not sure that we have a really good translation for quality time beside of the word. So what quality times means, and I thought about, well, that must be something like laying in the garden in the deck chair that my brother gave me as a present years ago. But I then thought, no, that can't be quality time. That's lazy time. Maybe something other is meant. And I just asked ChatGPT what quality time is, and to me, ChatGPT said it's a meaningful, focused time with someone, most of the time a loved one. So yeah.
Well, maybe.
That's a good start.
That's a really good start. I had this quality time potentially with Ariel and the steam, and I said something to her and it fell flat. There was no response. She was busy thinking about all the things she had to do.
It was almost like holding a bunch of helium balloons, although the helium balloons in my mind are usually a happier, cheerier thing. But this is a balloon of, I'm working on the calendar. I have emails to do. Oh, there's laundry downstairs. And I bring all the strings in with me and the balloons, and they're all in front of me rotating, and I'm nowhere in sight when that happens.
Yeah. I thought about that. We had friends that stayed overnight in our house from yesterday to this morning, and we said to them, you can sleep as long as you want. So at 9 o'clock they had breakfast, and I went to them, and after that I thought, was I really there with them? Because I was working in home office. At that time I worked for 2 hours. I'm so in the thing, but I went up to them and talked with them, but I'm sure I wasn't really there for them. So
But that only happens when you don't drop what you are doing to be where you are.
See, the moment changes, it shifts from one moment to the next. And in one moment, it's appropriate to be in your computer screen. Another moment, it's appropriate to be available to what's happening in front of you elsewhere, like in the kitchen.
yeah.
In a way, being fully with your computer screen for a couple hours is a type of
Quality
time, or laying in the chair outside that your brother gave you is also quality time. But you have on both ends of the spectrum a judgment system. This is lazy time and this is work time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if you let go or recognize that you have internalized judgment systems about what you're up to.
Well, if you listen to the conversation that the voice in your head mostly complains to you about you and says you should be doing it more better or differently than you are, then there's no quality time.
Yeah.
You described quality time. You came to a 2-hour seminar, actually in the middle of the night, your time. You don't really know what all we talked about or what all happened, but when you went to bed, you had a level of inspiration or enthusiasm, and you laid there not complaining that you weren't going to sleep, listening to your wife's breathing.
That was quality time.
With yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the average person, or generally when people are awake in the middle of the night, they're like, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, I'm going to be tired in the morning. It's a complaint system, and then it rotates into what needs to get done or that type of thing.
Well, I was on the river a couple of days ago fishing, and I saw a fellow there that is part of the fishing club, and he is a veteran, and he was traumatized in war, and he has a rescue dog or a service dog that hangs out with him. And I met him a number of years ago, and he was very upset with his reality. And I invited him to come to a Living Made Easy or a what is this, Being Here seminar, the
one
podcast.
Of the 2-hour seminars.
And he came and didn't say anything. And I saw him about a month ago, and this was a couple of years ago he came. I saw him about a month ago, and he said, that seminar you did, it profoundly affected my life.
Wow.
So the real purpose of my conversation right now is there's a program in the fly fishing community called Healing Waters. And it's about taking these wounded veterans, whether they're wounded psychologically or physically, and teaching them how to fly fish. And it's very cool because you see, there's this idea that we have, that no two things can occupy you at the same time. So you can either replay the trauma of your life, or you can be engaged in watching the fish rise and take a fly. And when you get engaged in watching the river flow by, you're not thinking about your trauma, because no two thoughts can occupy you. So I realized when I saw him the other day how amazingly healing taking somebody fishing can be, if they think about fishing rather than their deficiencies, rather than their inadequacies, rather than their brokenness.
Wow.
And it's funny. We grow up, all of us in this planet, in a psychological paradigm where the situations of our childhood determine how we can manifest ourselves as adults. But that's not really true, you see, because when you get to the moment and our being here, suddenly you synchronize with your life. And when you resynchronize with your life, it's a new beginning.
Hmm.
So your life is a moment to moment new beginning, and it's all quality time.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is. And it's not just because I say it's great because it actually manifests itself that way.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have some fun now, Ulf, because you have the potential of living your life like the river. Like this is, I am at my computer. I'm walking up the stairs to where my guests are. Then the stairs leave. That part of the river flows by. Now you're with your guests. And now you're with us. And then you're with your wife. And so it's not like you have the lazy time and the work time and that it's all has the potential of a quality flow.
Yeah.
If you're here for it. But if you're busy worrying about anything, which is always in the future or the past, you see, worry lives in the future and the past, not in the current moment, unless you're thinking about it and then becomes your current moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no quality time.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah. It reminds me, I think one of the last seminars that we did, we had a little task to happen. So no matter what, no matter.
Start again because you broke up.
After the little task, at least we didn't hear you. So even if if you could repeat it again, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. We had a little task. I'm not sure when it was, and the task was no matter what happens and what comes your way, you say, and this is what I want.
Right.
And that reminds me this flowing of the river and making quality time of everything, and this is what I want. Yeah.
Well, you can tell what you want by what you've got. See, that's the thing. Well, in the current moment, your life is complete exactly as it is with all the circumstances that you have exactly as they are. Now, most people have preferences. Their preference is not for what they have, it's for what they want or hope to achieve. So, no matter what you have, isn't it? If you have a preference for something else and you won't set that preference aside to enjoy being in the moment you're in.
So that little game that we played, whether it was over a lunch or an evening and come back, talk the next day or after the lunch, it's a game where you step into where you are as if it's your idea.
Your choice to be there.
What happens.
Wow.
Otherwise, you victimize yourself with your life.
And that's not an Ulf thing. That's a thing.
That's an everybody does it.
A thing. That's great. Yeah.
The other thing is this: your reality is a function of the agreement of enough people agree to something, it becomes a reality. And in our world, the reality is life is difficult, and you have to work hard to get it. And it isn't perfect. But my reality, which is independent of the reality that I was raised in, this moment is whole, it's full, it's complete, it lacks nothing, and it's not changeable.
When you say it's independent of your childhood, I get this interesting image. It's like you're a flower where everything's whole, full, and complete, and it's sitting on the stem of your childhood. So that Shya's childhood, as he's describing it, and independence is not disconnected from or in opposition to or resistance to. It's as if that was the cultural beginning. And then there's wide possibilities that you can include, and you do not need to reject your childhood in order to be fully
Well,
you.
what's interesting is we were at this fishing lodge last week in the Florida Keys, and somebody asked me how I chose my profession.
Hmm.
And I didn't choose my profession. My profession chose me.
I could say the same.
The circumstances that presented themselves in the current moment were all there was, you see.
Yeah.
And I went with whatever there was until I became who I am, not trying to get somewhere by becoming a profession. I didn't choose to become a teacher or choose to become a woodworker or choose to become an anthropologist.
Yeah.
And yes, I went to school.
And this is what I want.
And this is what I want.
Great.
See, if you're in disagreement, you'd be normal
Hmm.
because most of us have been raised in the idea that whatever we have is not enough, that this isn't it, and something more, better, or different will make life better, except it doesn't.
I want to circle back to one thing you said, because I think it's very normal for people to have a I don't know, interaction. In this case, your interaction with your guests that they were at, and then afterwards analyze it, like how you did. Were you there enough? You think you were? I'm not sure. You don't need to do that. It's like, okay. It's like instantaneously you see there may be a more expansive possibility, but you don't have to work on it. The moment you had that thought, it's enough. You don't have to go back and rework and pick apart your interactions.
Yeah. I won't do that.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us
Yes,
today.
thank you.
You are inspiration.
Well, thank you for having me. That was great. Thank you.
It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
I'm Sandy in Munich in Germany, and I just wanted to share how much I love attending anything Ariel and Shya can do. The weekend seminars, live in person or on Zoom, have just given my life so much, period. I don't think I would have a life like this if I'd never met them.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We were speaking with Ulf about our Living Made Easy 2-hour seminars. We have 3 of them coming up in 1 week. There are different time zones and, of course, different days. So you have an opportunity to sign into any or all that fits your schedule if you have an interest. The first is on Monday night, July 14th at 7 to 9. Then there's one
That's
Eastern
Eastern time.
Daylight Time, Eastern Time. Then we have Tuesday, which is in the afternoon Eastern time, 1:30. So in the European time zone, it's 7:30 to 9:30 in the evening. And then on Saturday, the 19th, we have one at 8 a.m. Eastern time, and that's at 1400 Central European time and 1300 if you are doing it from the UK time. So you'll figure it out in your time zones. I trust you on that one. You can visit our website and register.
Transformationmadeeasy.com.
Our in-person seminar, first one since
COVID?
Yeah, since COVID, in New York City, is July 25th, 6th, and 7th. It's on creativity and intuition. We have one on transformational time and project management in September. And since we have our European friends here with us today, if you want to plan ahead, we're doing Speak Up and Practical Enlightenment in the fall in Hamburg. So there you go. You can find out more, sign up for our newsletter that gives you all that information at transformationmadeeasy.com. Let's take our next guest.
Yes, please.
Jutta, welcome to being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Jutta and I'm calling in from Hademstorf in Germany.
Nice.
Our village in Germany. Yeah, really lovely to be with you today. And I listened to Ulf, and it's funny how my mind works, because I was like, okay, now I have a good topic to talk about today. And then I brought myself back, and it's funny to see how I used to beat on myself for that in the past. And it's not that nowadays I don't do that, but it's far less. It's really far less that I see, okay, my mind is drifting somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. Just go back. And that's very nice to see that, to be able to do that. But it requests me not to be in an upset, and I used to be in an upset state quite often in the past as well.
I know you are an award-winning, competitive equestrian. Do you find that this whole ability that you've been developing here and in the seminars and other places in your life, that noticing and bringing yourself back and skipping that step of beating on yourself, do you find that it's making an impact in how you perform with your horse?
Absolutely.
Or
has
how your horse
responds
performs.
to you.
Yes, it's really, it's with horses, it's so brilliant. If you're with a horse, you usually every horse is different, but they show you if you're not there with them. And it's the horse I'm riding now, my young horse, she's just 5 years old, and we're at the very beginning of performing together. When I'm not there, when I'm lost, she just stops. She's no matter where she is, she just stops. She slows down, and it's really like, it feels like she's asking me, "Hey, mommy, what shall I do next? Where are you?"
That's right.
And it's really nice to be able to see that and come back, and that's it makes it's like, well, transformation is something which is really taking place in the moment. It just happens, but it's also doing that more often. It trains me as well to be there and to enjoy that.
Well, look, I got to tell you, I met you when we met you, and you are not the person we met when we met you. Now, I'm sure people all change over time, but there's a radical difference in your willingness to express yourself. You used to be rather withheld. How's that? You like that word?
Yes.
That
Yes.
expresses it. I'll wait and see what happens here before I participate.
Yes. I remember that.
Yes.
And when you got excited and wanted to express yourself, it was almost like you pinched out the communication because it was so unusual for you.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
So I'm really pleased with, see, it isn't progress. It's who you transformed into, who was already there waiting to be found.
Yes, I feel that. I really feel that. Like in that moment, I just get out what's in me. It's like I'm filling my skin.
Yes.
Didn't do like before the skin was a little bit too big or something like that. And I'm not talking about overweight or something like that.
Right, right,
It's
right.
just like, and then I'm expanding. It's expanding into myself and to the outside world.
Yes. It's like stepping up to the window rather than standing back 5 feet from the window. You get to see a lot more of your life when your face is right up against the glass of your,
Existence.
yeah.
That's
I like
right.
I like what you said, Yuta, because it's not something we talked about today. There are a lot of paradoxes in transformation. Transformation or a paradox is when there are two seemingly opposing things, but both are true. And it is true that transformation is instantaneous. It happens in an instant, not over time, and you recognize it after the fact as you're starting to speak kindly to yourself or interact with your environment in a way where you're not frustrated. You don't have to tell yourself, you just find that it's happened. So that's in an instant. But it also is cumulative, which is why people listen to the podcast or subscribe and have it each week, or the Living Made Easy on Demand with videos coming into their inbox for a year, or coming to seminars.
Well, it's such a different reality, the reality of transformation, because it's a reality based in experience, not thinking about. See, and when you're riding your horse, you're in the experience of riding when you're doing well. When you're thinking, you're not doing so well. Have you noticed that?
Yes. When I'm thinking there's no riding taking place, then the horse has no pilot.
Right.
That's very
And the
funny.
other thing is this, when you're really there, you don't have to do much. Your horse knows what you want because it's as though you've somehow synced up with that horse and it reads your request without your asking.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
This goes back to what Ulf was talking when he wasn't sure about the translation into German of the phrase quality time, and Chat GBT said it was focused time with generally with a loved one. I know your horse is a loved one, but what you're talking about is when you're really here and the horse happens to be under you, and you realize you want to go to that next step or to the gate that you need to be opening as part of the games or the trials that you're in. It's like it's a happening. That's quality time.
That's so true. And it's really, I can be completely on my own having quality time. I can have quality time doing the dishes because it's something I love to just to be into things. I wanted to say I love to see the outcome, but it's yeah, I love to see the outcome, but it's while doing it, this is really something very sweet where I enjoy what my hands are doing, to be in details and yeah, just doing what I do and just being with what I do, whether it's washing the dishes, cleaning the house, or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, when you're there for it, it's quality time.
Hmm.
When
Yes.
you're thinking you should be doing something else or complaining that you have to do it, there's no quality.
I pretty much get to see my state every night, sometimes a couple times a night. Our cat likes to wake me up to be fed during the night, and she's very persistent in different ways. And I can tell by when I sit up and when I touch her and how her fur feels if I'm here or if I'm complaining, because there's something magical about touching her fur in the middle of the night. It's as if the molecules in my hands have more space between them, and I can feel the texture of her fur. Or, oh God, it's 3 a.m. She woke me up.
I know that feeling. I have a cat here as well, but she's not that persistent. But yeah, in the morning, the cats are coming, and we have 2 cats, and they are coming and they want to have some attention, and they are so cute.
Mm.
If I'm there, they are cute. If I'm not there and complaining, they're not cute at all.
Well,
Mhm.
it sounds like you have just encapsulated the difference between time, quality time and complaining time. So,
Yeah, yes. And I can say, it's not too long ago when I visited you and I saw you in Hamburg for a workshop, a weekend workshop. And it's afterwards, life was so different, and I saw it in retrospect, but really in retrospect, that everything felt so nice and easy, and that the quality of my being was very, very different.
But there's something about transforming uh, the experience of living. And when that happens, the situations that you've been trying to change or have been putting up with clear up just out of you living. It's not like you have to work on things to get them to change or get better. They do it naturally if you're there as you're doing what you're doing.
Yes.
But if you're in a complaint that it's not the way you want it, nothing is ever enough.
That's very true. It's very true. There's a lot of quality time happening since the last workshop.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
well,
Really.
I'm enjoying. I think this is the first we pre-record these podcasts. Our talented producers come help us out, and then the talented editors put it together, and then the talented folks who upload it. We have a whole team of volunteers who get juice from taking care of the world at large. So shout out to all of you. This is the first set that we have recorded since our Hamburg and both you and Ulf were there. And I feel like it's you, Ulf, Shya, and I are all partners in bringing being here to the listeners. It's like we're your guests, not you're only our guests. Like there's a partnership, and it's really delightful.
You see, transformation, Uta, is yours, not ours. If you own it, it is yours. We provide the opportunity for people to discover it as a possibility other than what they already are habituated to. But when you discover there's another possibility and you own that possibility, it becomes a reality. And it's not most people's reality. Most people's reality is the same every day. My son used to say, I'd say, how you doing? He'd say, same old, same old.
Mm.
Because every day was, he had similar thoughts and it was always the same. But for me, it's not the same. Every day is new. Every moment is new. You know, living is exciting.
Yeah.
I was at Walmart today. I was getting some groceries and some other things. And I was looking at the people there. And a lot of people are a lot younger than me that think they're a lot older than I am.
Yeah.
You know,
I see. Yeah.
they've given up on the possibility of being enthusiastic about their lives.
I met a gentleman recently, he kept calling me young lady. And he was so much younger than me. And it was almost, it wasn't even almost, it was a bit of a dismissive term. So as if younger people had less value, which is not my perspective, but clearly it was his. So finally I said to him, look, will you please stop calling me young lady? I am much older than you are. And he said, no, you're not. I'm old. I said, no, I am. After a bit of banter back and forth, it came out that he's 48 and I'm 67 years of age. But in his mind, he was old. I thought, wow, I am.
At 48.
Yes, yes.
Isn't that amazing? It's
It
really,
is amazing.
It is amazing.
It's very amazing. You know, I saw today's schedule. We're recording this podcast. We're recording next week's podcast a little later today, solving the problem before it becomes one. And I noticed that our guest for that one is your man, Ingo.
yes.
And I just want to mention how much we appreciate that you shared the experience of this possibility with him so he could have it too.
Oh, thank you. I get goosebumps because I enjoyed so much that when I shared it, the opportunity, he just jumped into it. And I love how he is experiencing that and to have that together with all of you, it's just such a possibility I never could imagined in the past. And it's just awesome.
Well, it was impossible before it became possible. And that's one of the interesting things about transformation. When it happens, it's a done deal. But the other thing is, it isn't for certain that it will last. You have to nurture it. You have to engage in it. You have to have it be a possibility in each moment, because it's so easy to get lost in the mindset of humanity, which is life is hard. This isn't it. You have to work hard to get to what you want. Well, maybe not. Maybe you can slow down enough and discover there's this thing called the moment, an Augenblick in German, the blink of an eye. That's all it takes. It isn't about working hard to get somewhere. It's about being here. That's why this show is called, or this podcast is called Being Here. It's not doing being, it's being.
You may know this, Shia, or you may recall it, but as I'm looking at you, Tim, we're talking about, this magic of Ingo jumping in to that transformational experience with her. They are coming with us in 2026 to Costa Rica.
I know. I'm very happy about that. But the other thing is this, he's really great, and so are you.
Independent and collectively.
Yes, that you shared transformation with him, and that he has set down his prejudices that you really can't learn from a girl.
Yeah.
And embraced your passion and has discovered his own. That's great, man.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for being you.
Mhm.
Like I am so taken by who you are.
Thank
For
you.
all our listeners, if you're enjoying Utah today, if you enjoyed Ulf, share them with your friends. Don't keep it all to yourself. That's wealth. And you can subscribe to the podcast. You can sign up for anything you want with us. Also, our newsletter has blogs. We have one coming out pretty soon, written by not the two of us, but another talented person in the community. There's so much coming, and I've been working on next year's calendars, and the 2026 calendars, Transformation Made Easy calendar, will be out by the end of the month. So we're very excited about it. It's going to be beautiful. And
Ariel has taken all the pictures,
Why not?
the photographs.
That's true.
Right.
So next week's episode, we already announced it, solving the problem before it becomes one.
So come on back.
And don't miss
Being here.